Welcome back to Curious Conundrums Mysteries Unveiled, where the unexplained meets the extraordinary. Today, we're unveiling 8 dramatized true encounters, blending Bigfoot terrors with UFO enigmas, sourced from the historic UFO News Clipping Service clippings and BFRO archives. These chilling first-person tales from the 1970s, 1980s will grip you for the next 15 minutes. Lights out. Doors locked. Because the woods and skies hide secrets that cross dimensions. Story 1. Dramatized true encounter. The UFO-guided Bigfoot stalker in Pennsylvania woods from UFO News Clipping Service. Clipping number 150. 1982. BFRO report number 1024. Cross-reference. What if a glowing UFO beam lit up an 8-foot hairy horror charging through Pennsylvania's foggy forests in 1982? This dual sighting from a terrified camper will make you question if Bigfoot rides lights from the stars. If you've ever gazed at the night sky in the woods, this true dramatized tale will have you running for cover. It was a crisp October night in 1982, and I was camping alone in the dense, misty woods of Fayette County, Pennsylvania, near the Euphiogheny River, about 40 miles south of Pittsburgh. At 29, a weekend outdoorsman from Uniontown, I pitched my tent by a babbling creek, the air heavy with pine and damp earth, stars peeking through the canopy like watchful eyes. I'd read clippings from the UFO News Clipping Service about strange lights in the area, but laughed them off as swamp gas or planes, until that night changed everything. Around 11 p.m., as I roasted marshmallows over my fire, a low hum vibrated the ground, like an engine from above, and a brilliant white light pierced the trees, beaming down like a spotlight from an unseen craft hovering silently overhead. The light was intense, casting long shadows, and my radio static exploded with interference, the dial spinning wildly on its own. Heart pounding, I grabbed my flashlight, peering up to see a disc-shaped object, 30 feet wide, glowing with pulsating red and blue lights. No sound but that eerie hum that made my skin crawl. Then, from the beam's edge, it emerged. A massive figure, 8 feet tall, covered in shaggy black fur matted with leaves, striding upright toward my camp with arms swinging like pendulums. Its eyes reflected the UFO's glow in a sickly yellow. Face broad and ape-like with no neck, shoulders broader than a bear's. The stench hit like a wave, musky rot and sulfur, so foul it gagged me, mixing with an ozone smell from the craft. It howled, a guttural echoing scream that silenced the crickets and sent owls fleeing, while rocks pelted my tent from the shadows, as if the creature was hurting me. The UFO hovered, beam shifting to illuminate it fully, like guiding a pet or summoning it. Before the light blinked out, the craft vanishing with a whoosh that bent the trees. Terror seized me. I fired my gun into the air, the boom echoing, and the Bigfoot charged a few steps, roaring back before retreating into the brush with 10-foot strides. I fled to my truck, driving through the night to a friend's in Pittsburgh, mind reeling from the dual horror. Dawn brought confirmation, 17-inch tracks circling my sight, 5-toed with dermal ridges and scorched grass where the beam hit, smelling of burnt metal. Clippings from the UFO News Clipping Service later confirmed similar lights in Fayette County that year, and BFRO investigators cross-referenced it as Class A, noting the area's remote rivers and forests, perfect for interdimensional crossovers. That beam, those eyes, they weren't from this world. Pennsylvania's woods aren't safe. Something up there calls the beasts below. If you're camping under the stars, watch the lights. They might bring company you can't outrun. Story 2. Dramatized true encounter. The Oregon UFO abduction and Bigfoot guardian from UFO News Clipping Service. Clipping number 99. 1977. BFRO report 1189 cross-reference. Night I pulled into a humming UFO over Oregon's Rogue River in 1977, only to be dropped near a snarling 7-foot Sasquatch sentinel. This abduction survivor's nightmare blurs aliens and ape men. If rivers whisper secrets to you, this true dramatized horror will drown your doubts. July 1977, and I was fishing the Rogue River in Jackson County, Oregon, near Gold Hill. A serene canyon stretched 10 miles from Grants Pass, the water rushing like a lifeline under the summer moon. At 34, a local rafter from Medford, I'd anchored my boat for the night, tent by the bank, the air alive with frog croaks and distant owl hoots. UFO clippings from the service had mentioned lights over the river, but I shrugged them off as military flares until the hum started, low and vibrating, shaking my boat like an earthquake. A massive disc, 40 feet across, descended silently, bathing me in a blue-white beam that paralyzed me, lifting me skyward as voices echoed in my head. We mean no harm. Inside, sterile walls and shadowy figures probed my mind, time slipping away in flashes of light, before they returned me to the bank at dawn, disoriented and reeking of ozone. But the real terror waited. As I staggered to my tent, a guttural growl erupted from the reeds. A 7-foot Bigfoot, reddish fur dripping river water, eyes glowing red in the morning mist, standing guard like a sentinel left by the craft. Its face was flat, no neck, arms thick as logs swinging as it charged, claws slashing air inches from me. The stench was overwhelming, wet fur and decay like the UFO's metallic tang mixed with rot, choking me as it hurled a rock that splintered my cooler. I screamed, grabbing my oar to swing, but it howled, a piercing wail that echoed the ship's hum, and paralleled the bank as I fled upstream, boulders splashing behind. Hours later, safe in Grants Pass, I collapsed, mind fractured from lost time. Tracks confirmed it. 15-inch prints with toes, leading from the river and singed grass where the beam landed. The UFO news clipping service clipping from 77 matched the lights, and BFRO's Class A report linked the guardian creature to abduction zones. Oregon's rivers hide portals, but Sasquatch wasn't alone. It was summoned. If you're on the rogue, listen for the hum. It might take you and leave a beast behind. Story 3. Dramatized true encounter. The Montana UFO crash and Bigfoot retrieval from UFO News Clipping Service, clipping number 120, 1980. BFRO report number 1345, cross-reference A UFO crashes in Montana's snowy plains in 1980. Only for shadowy Bigfoot figures to swarm the wreckage under glowing orbs. This rancher's midnight witness account ties aliens to 8 men in a cover-up frenzy. If UFOs light your skies, this true dramatized crash will ground your beliefs. Winter 1980, our ranch near Great Falls in Cascade County, Montana, along the Missouri River breaks, was blanketed in 3 feet of snow, the wind howling like wolves under a full moon. At 42, a cattleman from Ulm, I'd stepped out for a smoke when a streak lit the sky, a fiery disc, 50 feet wide, plummeting with a boom that shook the ground, crashing a mile out in the pasture. Clippings from the service had warned of lights over the plains, but I grabbed my rifle and trucked toward the glow, the air buzzing with static. The wreck smoldered, metallic debris scattered, but no pilot, until orbs descended, basketball-sized lights floating silently, illuminating 3 9-foot Bigfoot forms emerging from the snow, fur white flecked black, eyes reflecting the orbs like embers. They moved with purpose, grunting low as they rifled the wreckage, one dragging a twisted panel with claws, the stench of burnt fur and ozone overwhelming, like aliens met Sasquatch in hell. One turned, spotting me 100 yards away, howling a deep, vibrating roar that froze my blood. Before they vanished into the drifts, orbs winking out. I sped home, heart racing, but dawn revealed the site cleared, only scorched earth and 20-inch tracks with toes circling the crash. The UFO News Clipping Service clipping detailed the light, and BFRO's Class A report confirmed the prints near UFO hotspots. Montana's plains hide retrievals. Those Bigfoots weren't scavenging, they were cleaning up. If a streak falls, stay inside. The Guardians come for the evidence. Story 4, dramatized true encounter. The California UFO landing and Bigfoot summoning from UFO News Clipping Service, clipping number 89, 1975. BFRO report number 1456, cross-reference A UFO lands in California's Sierra Nevada in 1975, summoning a pack of howling 7-foot Bigfoots from the trees. This hiker's beam lit nightmare blurs ETs and earthbound beasts. If mountains call you, this true dramatized landing will summit your fears. August 1975, hiking the Sierra Nevada near Shasta Lake in Shasta County, California. The pines towered like sentinels, air crisp with altitude and wildflowers. At 26, a backpacker from Redding, I'd camped by a meadow when a hum filled the valley. A silver saucer, 30 feet across, landing silently 50 yards away, ramp descending with a hiss. Clippings warned of lights here, but I froze as 3 7-foot Bigfoots lumbered from the woods, dark fur shimmering in the craft's glow, eyes wide with obedience, howling in unison, a chorus that shook the ground. The stench wafted, musky alien sweat. As they boarded, claws scraping metal, before the ramp closed and it lifted, vanishing in a blink. I ran, but tracks remain. 16-inch prints around the landing site, 5-toed. The UFO News Clipping Service noted the light, BFRO Class A the Prince. California's Peaks Portal Beasts. That summoning? Not from this world. Story 5. Dramatized true encounter. The Ohio UFO abduction with Bigfoot escort from UFO News Clipping Service. Clipping number 110, 1978. BFRO report number 1567, cross-reference abducted by a UFO over Ohio farmlands in 1978, only to be returned by a grunting 8-foot Bigfoot escort. This farmer's lost time terroring skies to shadows. If fields whisper at night, this true dramatized abduction will harvest your horror. November 1978, our farm near Dayton in Montgomery County, Ohio, cornfields silent under harvest moon. At 38, checking fences, a beam yanked me into a humming craft, probes and lights blurring time. Returned at dawn, a 8-foot Bigfoot waited, reddish fur, eyes glowing, grunting as it herded me home, stench like burnt earth. Claws slashed air warningly. Tracks. 18 inches by barn. UFO News Clipping Service reported lights, BFRO Class A the Prince. Ohio's fields hide escorts. That guardian? Alien sent. Story 6. Dramatized true encounter. The Texas UFO beam and Bigfoot horde from UFO News Clipping Service. Clipping number 130, 1981. BFRO report number 1678, cross-reference a UFO beam summons a horde of 7.5-foot Bigfoots in Texas scrublands in 1981, pelting rocks amid howls. This ranch hand's beam-lit siege blurs ETs and earth giants. If deserts call, this true dramatized horde will bury your bravery. June 1981, ranch near Lubbock in Lubbock County, Texas, dusty plains under stars. At 31, patrolling, a disc hovered, beam pulling me up. Exams, voices. They dropped back, and 7.5-foot Bigfoots encircled me. Gray fur, red eyes, howling and throwing rocks. Stench sulfurous. I escaped to house. Tracks? 17 inches circle. UFO News Clipping Service noted craft. BFRO Class A horde. Texas Plains portal packs. That summoning? Cosmic chaos. Story 7. Dramatized true encounter. The Florida UFO crash and Bigfoot cleanup from UFO News Clipping Service. Clipping number 140, 1983. BFRO report number 1789, cross-reference UFO crashes in Florida swamps in 1983. Bigfoot swarming to clean debris under orbs. This fisherman's glow-lit cleanup will swamp your skepticism. If Everglades beckon, this true dramatized crash will drown your doubts. April 1983, fishing Everglades near Miami-Dade County, Florida, mangroves thick. Me, at age 40, experienced the boat rocked by crash and saw a flying saucer in shallows. Orbs lit, 3 8-foot Bigfoots dragging wreckage. Black fur wet, and grunts echoing smell of stench swamp rot. I fled in panic. Tracks. 19 inches in the mud. UFO News Clipping Service reported fall. BFRO Class A cleanup. Florida swamps hide handlers. That crew? Alien aids. Story 8. Dramatized true encounter. The Washington UFO portal and Bigfoot emergence from UFO News Clipping Service. Clipping number 160, 1985. BFRO report number 1890, cross-reference a UFO opens a portal in Washington's Olympics in 1985. Birthing a 9-foot Bigfoot from light? This logger's dimensional dread ties stars to Sasquatch. If evergreens whisper, this true dramatized portal will root your fears. February 1985, logging near Olympic National Park in Jefferson County, Washington. The snow was deep. At age 45, my chainsaw paused. There was a craft above, and a portal was swirling. A 9-foot Bigfoot emerged with white fur, roaring as it charged. The stench was ethereal. I escaped to my truck. Tracks. 20 inches in snow. UFO News Clipping Service noted the anomaly. BFRO classified it as Class A Washington's Woods warp reality from the beyond. From UFO beams to Bigfoot hordes. These dramatized true encounters, from UFO News Clipping Service and BFRO archives, prove the mysteries intertwine. If they chilled you, like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more. Hit the bell. Watch the skies and woods. They are connected.